Hello everyone, my name is Brendan Paul and I'm a Senior Solutions Architect at Amazon Web Services. In this video, I'm going to showcase the certificate attribute mapping feature of the IAM Roles Anywhere service. So here's our agenda for today. I'll do a quick overview of the IAM Roles Anywhere service and the certificate attribute mapping feature, and then finally I'll do a quick demo of the feature. So for those of you who are not familiar, IAM Roles Anywhere is a service that allows you to get temporary AWS credentials using X509 certificates that are issued by your public key infrastructure. This can be for workloads running both on AWS or in an on-premises or multi-cloud environment. This enables your workloads that run outside of AWS to access resources using temporary credentials, eliminating the need for long-term access keys. Now, before we talk about certificate attribute mapping, let's review a few key IAM Roles Anywhere concepts. The first is trust anchors. You establish trust between IAM Roles Anywhere and your certificate authorities by creating a trust anchor. A trust anchor is a reference to either an AWS private CA or an external CA certificate. Your workloads outside of AWS authenticate with the trust anchor using certificates issued by the trusted CA in exchange for temporary AWS credentials. Next is roles. An IAM role is an IAM identity that you can create in your account that has specific permissions. A role is intended to be assumable by anyone who needs it. In this case, the roles will be assumable by the IAM Roles Anywhere service principal. Finally, we have profiles. To specify which roles IAM Roles Anywhere assumes and what your workloads can do with the temporary credentials, you create a profile. In a profile, you can define IAM session policies, which can be managed or inline, to limit the permissions created for a session. You can also define what attributes are retrieved from the certificate and attached to the session. We'll talk about this in the next slide. So as part of the profile definition, IAM Roles Anywhere provides you with the capability to define a custom set of mapping rules, enabling you to specify which data are extracted from the authenticating certificates. So these attributes are used as session tags for your authorization policies. And as you can see, attributes are data elements that come from specific fields in the certificate. You can use specifiers to represent one or more attributes. So for example, you might want to pull the URI out of the subject alternative name to be used as a principal tag. You can then use this principal tag to govern access to different resources on AWS. You can also decide to remove or change default mappings. For example, in the subject field, you might only want to pull out the organization or the common name. You might also not need the information in the issuer field. Now let's jump into the demo to see how this feature works. Starting off, I have a profile here called the Any Company profile. You can see I have the default certificate attribute mappings, where I'm extracting all fields from the subject, all fields from the issuer, as well as a few fields from the subject alternative name. Now that we've seen what attributes are being pulled out of the certificate and applied as tags, we can use this information to write an S3 bucket policy to govern access to our resources. In this policy, I'll specify that any principals which do not have a matching SAN URI are denied from taking any actions on this bucket. Now, if we take a quick look at the certificate that we're using to authenticate to IAM Roles Anywhere, we can see that the X509 subject alternative name has a URI that matches what we defined in the S3 bucket policy. So I've already pre-configured my AWS config file to have a profile which uses that certificate and the associated private key to authenticate, and I've called this profile the Roles Anywhere profile. So I'll use this to list the objects in the S3 bucket and you'll see that I can in fact list the objects, and there is one text object in that bucket. Next, we'll go back to the IAM Roles Anywhere console, and we will remove the subject alternative name URI from the attributes that are being mapped to our principal when we assume the role. If we go back and try to run the same command again, we will actually be denied even though it's the same certificate, because our profile is specifying that we are not pulling out the subject alternative name anymore, so that bucket policy will apply to our principal now. And that's it for the demo. In this video, we showed how the certificate attribute mapping feature works in IAM Roles Anywhere. And if you're interested in getting started with the service, check out the IAM Roles Anywhere documentation. Thank you.